Ah, DSW, birthplace of the humble brag. Here, the shoes are so good, no one would ever know how little you paid. If you didn't go telling everyone, that is. And with never-ending options for every style, mood, and occasion, all at really great prices, we'll definitely give you something to brag about. So go ahead, stock up on fresh sneakers from your favorite brands, or try those boots you always secretly knew you could pull off. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or at DSW.com. Let us surprise you.
Looking for these better days.
It is Wednesday, January 28th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. An all-time historic cash for us on our free play of the day. We'll talk about the Nebraska-Michigan game coming up. And Bill Belichick not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Social media is on fire. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Mac, let's start with what was a historic win for us on our free play of the day, given out up on betterday.com. It was the under in the top 5 matchup between Michigan and Nebraska in college basketball. The total closed at 156.5. And Mackenzie, after a 98-point first half, the game finished with 147 points. Not even a sweat on whether or not it was going to go over 156.5. It finishes 10 points under the total.
Yeah, 10 points under the total. The live line at halftime was 180.5. But as you mentioned to the group chat, it was kind of the game we expected, except the fact that Nebraska made every single one of their threes, a historic amount of threes. So if you believed in the thesis, you had a lot of opportunities to add to your portfolio. Like 2 minutes left, it was like 70-70 in the total line. I guess overtime is kind of part of the picture there.
Yeah.
But it was like 155.5. And I'm like, it's not going there. Not the way not the way the pace has been going. So nice to get that win.
Yeah, and you know, somebody asked, I think it was Joe in our group chat. And by the way, if you are not a Better Day Insider or Premium member, you can click on the link on our homepage at betterday.com, find out how you can elevate your betting game. And if you are a Better Day Insider or Premium member and you have not joined our community chat yet, well, what are you waiting for? Make sure you join our community chat. We love what we're building. We love everyone interacting with each other. And Joe had asked the question in our chat about, do you double down in a game like this? Like after seeing that first half performance, do you double down and go ahead and bet again on a live under or bet a second half under? And my answer was, in a game like last night, the answer is yes. Like in most situations, maybe the answer is no. But in a game like last night where Nebraska shot uncharacteristically lights out from 3-point range, it was going to regress. Okay. Evan Mia, who does, the incredible basketball analytics website, college basketball website, Evan Miyakawa, right? He tweeted out that Nebraska had 10 made 3-pointers at halftime. And since Dusty May took over at Michigan, they've only allowed 7 total games with more than 10 3-pointers made. Like it was the most that they had allowed. And by the way, in the second half, Nebraska made 1 3-pointer, Mackenzie. They finished the game 11 of 32 from 3-point range. So you want to talk about regression? There was regression there in the second half.
If you would have told me Nebraska's going to have 11 threes in the game, I'll be like, oh, wow, that's a lot of threes. Man, that's I might not like the total. It shows how good of a bet it was, even with historic shooting, which cooled off, but still was historic with 11 threes. I mean, historic. An anomaly for this Michigan defense.
Yes.
A lot of ways to win that bet.
Yeah, so Michigan gets the win, 75-72. Nebraska covers as the double-digit dog, and now the trend that we gave out in the newsletter and up on betterday.com in our free play article, top 5 matchups with a double-digit point spread. If you take out the overtime game that occurred a couple of years ago, we are now 7-0 to the under. So it's now 7-1 to the under, but again, that one game that went over was a double overtime game. So despite 98 points in the first half, it still goes
I think the
under.
thesis makes sense, and I think this was a game that exemplified it. Michigan has to win that game. They have an 85% chance to win that game. However, it's a top 5 matchup. So on the one hand, they're like, we have to win, so let's slow it down and make sure we get the win. On the other hand, they have to play super intense and super careful because they know this is a team that can prove their ranking right and beat them.
Yep. Elsewhere in top 25 college hoops last night, we had an upset as unranked Indiana defeated number 12 Purdue 72-67. No, Mackenzie, this was not a system play. Indiana was an underdog in this game, so it wasn't the home favorite that is unranked. Indiana was a 4.5-point dog. They win outright 72-67, and we are less than 50 days till the tournament begins. So
wow. It happens already. Conference tournaments 35 days away.
It's crazy. Yeah. On the schedule for tonight, we have 3 top 25 teams in action. It is number 25, St. John's, a 12.5-point favorite over Butler. Number 10, Houston, an 8.5-point favorite at TCU. And then number 19, Florida, a 10.5-point road favorite at South Carolina. Let's talk NBA, Mackenzie, where the Thunder get a win, but not a cover over the Pelicans. So they snap their 2-game losing skid, but they do not cover a heavy line, a 104-95 win over the Pelicans.
And they don't snap the trend of where their offense has been going. Really, since Jalen Williams came back when they were 24-1, well, now they're 38-10. So they've been 14-9, not exactly world beaters the last month, but they can't blame Jalen Williams anymore. He's not out there, or not that Jalen Williams. Shea, 8 for 22, pretty off night. Got to the free throw line 14 times. They really have been a make or miss team. They have a lot of guys that just stand in the corner. Alex Caruso, Carson Wallace, Lou Dort. And if they're not making, they're pretty beatable. That's kind of explains why they have this historic margin, because sometimes they're going to make, and why you can beat them in the playoffs, why the Nuggets took them to 7, because sometimes they miss.
Yep. Good call by you last night. The Sixers, a 139-122 win over the Bucks. You talked about 2 teams going in different directions, and they were going in different directions last night as well.
Yeah, Embiid putting it together. How about Paul George, his first 30-point game of the season? If Paul George and Embiid are like your X factors and Tyrese Maxey's your MVP candidate, your best player, it's a lot of talent you're bringing into the playoffs. I'm not sure there's a lot of teams in the East that have a top 3 or top 4 with BJ Edgecombe that good.
Also, a great call by you with the Clippers, a 115-103 win over the Jazz, as you talked about this being the same spread as it was in the first game of the season. Yep. And this was a good revenge spot here for LA, going back to Utah with the same 8.5 point spread, and they win and they cover.
The first quarter did not look that way. It looked like a repeat of that October 22nd game. That was the opportunity to jump in. It got down to Clippers minus 2.5. That was the time to strike. They were not going to lose twice in Utah in the same season.
Let's look at the schedule for tonight. Lakers visit the Cavaliers, and the Cavs, who, you talked about it, other people have talked about it, them being legitimate contenders in the Eastern Conference. Well, they get bad news yesterday, as they're going to be without Mobley for the second time this season. Evan Mobley out about 1 to 3 weeks with a left calf strain. Cavs tonight, despite the injury, 3.5-point home favorites over the Lakers.
I have Evan Mobley worth 3 points to the line. I have Austin Reeves worth 2 points to the line, but the way the Lakers are playing, I might need to adjust that. They have been much worse without him. LeBron in, Austin Reeves out has been a net negative. On the season, the Cavs are 2.5 points better than the Lakers. Lakers have a +0 net rating. Cavs at 2.5. So with Mobley and Reeves potentially canceling each other out, I think this is the right line. Cavs are slightly better still without Mobley.
Bulls 2-point favorites at the Pacers. Hawks are at the Celtics. Boston a 6.5-point favorite. Magic visit the Heat. Miami 3-point favorites at home over Orlando, Mackenzie.
That's the line's wrong. The Heat and Eric Spoelstra are going to get credit till the cows come home. But if you look at the last month of the season, the Magic haven't been good. They've regressed. The Heat have been worse. And I know this is at home. I'm not sure on a Wednesday at 4:30 South Beach is going to be popping for the middling Heat. I think the Magic are the side.
Okay. Knicks on the second of a back-to-back are in Toronto to take on the Raptors, and Toronto a 2-point favorite here on FanDuel.
Yeah, the Raptors were at 34.5 win total. I recommended over during the summer, but I did not expect them to be this good. After beating the Thunder, I think that they keep that momentum going. I think they're the value play here.
Charlotte, a 2-point favorite at Memphis. You got Minnesota laying 7 at Dallas. Warriors, 9.5-point favorites at the Jazz. So we just saw the Jazz play last night against the Clippers as 8.5-point dogs. Now they're 9.5-point dogs to the Golden State Warriors. Does this spread make sense?
Well, yes, let's break it down. The Jazz are on the second night of a back-to-back. So if you think the Clippers and Warriors are even, we'll come back to that in a second, this line makes sense. You downgrade even a home team 1 point being on the second night of a back-to-back. However, I think the Clippers at this point are a lot better than the Warriors. I know the Warriors had a statement win against the Timberwolves and then rested everybody in the second game. But I think they're very dependent on making threes. I don't think they have a secondary scorer. I think the Jazz keep this close.
Okay, and finally, San Antonio is at Houston, and the Rockets up on FanDuel, a 3-point favorite over the Spurs.
Man, I wish it was still 2.5 like it was a minute ago. I like the Rockets.
The Rockets.
On the season, I have a point and a half better than the Spurs, but I think matchup-wise, and this was a best bet of mine a couple weeks ago when they played, I think they have a very strong advantage here. Last game, the Spurs made 8 of their first 11 threes, and then they still lost by 6. I think they don't start as hot, and I think they lose by more.
All right, good stuff there in the NBA. Coming up, let's talk about the big news in the NFL. We have some coaching news and also a Hall of Fame announcement.
The secret is out. With millions of younger-looking customers across the country, Plexiderm is one of the most highly sought-after products on the market. It visibly shrinks under eye bags and smooths out crow's feet in minutes, and the effects last up to 10 hours. Influencers love it, magazines feature it, and people just can't get enough of it. As a matter of fact, Elle Magazine gave it an Editor's Choice Award as Best Instant Wrinkle Filler for 2025. In as little as 10 minutes, Plexiderm reduces the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles, and those dreaded under-eye bags. So yes, you can look years younger in minutes, and the effects last for hours. No surgery, no gimmicks, just results. The best news, you can try Plexiderm for only $14.95. Plus, get free shipping. Don't wait. Order Plexiderm today. Visit plexiderm.com/special. That's plexiderm.com/special. Paid for by Sheer Science.
If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans, help is here. More and more Americans turn to credit cards to get by. National Debt Relief is helping qualified clients reduce what they owe. For many, continuing to struggle making minimum monthly payments could take years to pay off. National Debt Relief has already helped over 550,000 Americans reduce their debt by negotiating directly with their creditors. When you call, you'll be amazed at how much you can save and how quickly you can become debt-free. If you want off the debt treadmill, visit nationaldebtrelief.com today. You don't need to declare bankruptcy, and you may qualify for significant debt relief. To find out what savings you may qualify for, simply visit nationaldebtrelief.com. That's nationaldebtrelief.com.
DSW, birthplace of the humble brag. Here, the shoes are so good, no one would ever know how little you paid. If you didn't go telling everyone, that is. And with never-ending options for every style, mood, and occasion, all at really great prices, we'll definitely give you something to brag about. So go ahead, stock up on fresh sneakers from your favorite brands, or try those boots you always secretly knew you could pull off. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or at DSW.com. Let us surprise you.
Every Friday from 6 to 7:30, it's NBA Happy Hour on FanDuel, your pregame for the weekend. We're talking limited time specials you won't want to miss. Boosts, bonuses, surprises, all dropping in the app during Happy Hour. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app to see the week's special. Then, make your move before the shot clock expires at 7:30 Eastern. It's the perfect way to start your weekend. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Only on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 and older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. Or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, and Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-7 888-789-7777 or visit ccp.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Well, a big story broke yesterday in the NFL. Has nothing to do with the Super Bowl coming up. Has nothing to do with some coaching news, which we'll talk about some coaching news in a moment. But social media was abuzz yesterday, Mackenzie.
LeBron James commented.
Yes. When it was the story broke from ESPN that Bill Belichick received a phone call from a Hall of Fame representative to tell him that he will not be inducted into Canton this summer, year one of eligibility for Belichick to make the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And so he is not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. What do you make of this?
Well, let me ask you a question first, because I might have a controversial take here. Do you
Okay.
think there's a difference? Do you think like this guy should be a Hall of Famer, but not a first ballot Hall of Famer? I hear people say that.
No.
It never made any sense to me.
So I hated this in baseball when the idea was like, oh, if this player wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, then no one could be a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? And it was kind of the whole idea about not making Jeter unanimous. And then
because Babe Ruth wasn't unanimous.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing. Well, if Babe Ruth wasn't unanimous, then you can't make Derek Jeter unanimous, right? And then of course, like they correct it when like Mariano Rivera becomes like unanimous, right? So like they get it right eventually.
Right.
But I don't agree with if it's. You have to be. I understand not getting in certain years and then getting in other years. And the argument that people would give sometimes is, well, what's changed, right? It's not like they got extra wins. It's not like they hit more home runs. It's not like they got extra stats, right? So how could they not be a Hall of Famer in 2026 but be a Hall of Famer in 2027? And I get it because, like, yes, that's a great argument, but you're going up against other people, and you can't just put everybody in. You have to limit, I guess, how many people can get in a certain year. But I am of the belief that you are either a Hall of Famer or you're not. End of discussion.
Yeah.
So if there's no such. I don't do the whole first ballot Hall of Famer gets more credit in my mind than anybody else, because you know something. Some of the guys that are first ballot Hall of Famers in baseball or in football, that's just because they were going. There was a weak class, and if there were other people in that same year that were going up against them, maybe they wouldn't be first ballot Hall of Famers, right? Maybe they'd be second ballot Hall of Famers because there were other players that year that would get more votes than them. So I don't give any special preferential treatment or designation towards being a first ballot Hall of Famer or getting in your second year.
I agree 100%, because you're going to ask someone to vote against someone that's deserving of the Hall of Fame because they haven't waited long enough yet. No, the only reason you wouldn't make it is because your class is super strong and people were more deserving than you. But you're either Hall of Famer, I'm going to vote yes or not. And yes, I want to have a controversial take, but Bill Belichick deserves to be in the Hall of Fame now, in the future, forever. However, I'm going to make the case that he is not particularly better than, I don't know, Mike Shanahan or any of the other greats, Don Shula, because he got 20 years of Tom Brady. Yes, he made Tom Brady who he was. They had that weekly lunch, and he talked about what Ed Reed's doing, and I'm sure he helped Tom Brady out a lot and vice versa. But if you only had Bill Belichick's career, and he had a bunch of seasons without Tom Brady, you would not think he's good, let alone a Hall of Famer. So what are the years I'm talking about? He was with Cleveland from 1991 to 1995. The year 2000, Drew Bledsoe was his quarterback. The year 2009, Matt Castle was his quarterback because Tom Brady went out. And then we know after 2019, Tom Brady goes to Tampa. He had a few years with the Patriots, I think 3. All those seasons combined, he's 80 and 101 straight up, 44%. And ATS, which we care about in Vegas, we think is the ultimate, if you're better than expectations on a regular basis, you must be pretty good. He was average. He was actually a little bit below average, 48% ATS. So I think Bill Belichick is great, and I also think he's the product of his circumstances. But I've been a Brady thumper for a long time now, so I'm always going to have that stance.
It's listen, it's a very good argument, okay, if you are building an anti-Bill Belichick case. All right. You also, and this is what I factor in, is there's more Bill Belichick involvement in football than just his win-loss record as the head coach of the New England Patriots, right?
Sure.
Bill Belichick's impact on the New York Giants organization, right? I would argue the New York Giants don't win a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. I would argue that some could say Lawrence Taylor's not the player he is without Bill Belichick, right? Widely considered the greatest defensive player of all time, right?
True, and we've heard of Steve Spagnuolo being maybe the first coordinator to make the Hall of Fame just because he won 3 Super Bowls with the Chiefs. Well, the Giants weren't winning those 2 Super Bowls without Bill Belichick. It's a good
Exactly. And then you have to also acknowledge how much of a copycat league this is and how Belichick's impact on, scheming, game plans, the idea of putting an elite corner on, the second wide receiver and then double teaming the first wide receiver.
We've heard it for 20 years for a reason.
There's so many different things, like the way that his impact on football is greater than just what he did as the head coach of the New England Patriots. So I do think as a whole, Bill Belichick is a Pro Football Hall of Famer.
And you talk to football people, it's not even close. There's only one time I've seen my uncle Mike Shanahan, after he beat him in 2006 to end the Patriots' 10 straight playoff wins, walk up, shake his hand, and say, "You are the best." Like, I know we won this one, but he shook his hand and said, "You are the best. No one does it better than you." That was respect in 2006, and he only proved more and more the next 20 years. So, I mean, what even is the reason that they would vote him out? Like, was the class that stellar? So was it all Lawrence Taylor's? Like, I don't even understand.
No, what do you mean? Lawrence Taylor would have voted for him. The reports that were coming out yesterday, and this is from the ESPN article.
He cheated.
Quote, yes, quote, multiple sources told ESPN that Spygate and Deflategate, the twin cheating scandals during the Patriots championship run, came up in deliberations among voters. A voter who spoke on condition of anonymity said that Polian, meaning Bill Polian, an ardent Kraft supporter and former general manager of the Bills and Colts, a chief Patriots rival during their dynasty, told some voters he believed that Belichick should, quote, wait a year before induction as penance for Spygate, the 2007 cheating scandal that cost the team a first-round pick. Commissioner Goodell also fined the Patriots $500,000 and fined Belichick $250,000. Quote, the only explanation was the cheating stuff, a veteran Hall voter told ESPN on Tuesday. It really bothered some of the guys, end quote.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't even a rule when he started doing it. Another quote from Mike Shanahan was, anybody would have done it if they thought of it.
Yeah. Let me say this, Mackenzie. Deflategate's not a scandal to me, okay?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No. Like, and I said it at the time, right? There was like, I said it at the time, and I'll say it now. I'll say it till I go to my grave. Like, you'd be shocked if you like knew some of the things that like quarterbacks do to footballs or have the equipment managers do to footballs. Yeah. Like, the league allows the quarterbacks to do stuff to the footballs. It's crazy. Like, they not only do they rub them with mud, they sand them down. They take like a sand gun and then grind it down. Then they put this polish on. Then they do all these different things. Okay, so if Brady wanted his a little bit less PSI, that's not cheating, all right? Like,
by the way, they tested it.
Exactly.
It's like they have people that test it.
Exactly.
End of story.
It's not cheating to me. I'm sorry. Like, it's just not. The Spygate thing, that's a little bit different. Filming someone's practice, yeah, that's crossing the line a little bit.
Right. It's kind of like steroids where it's like obviously past the line of being fair, but it wasn't technically a rule when they started doing it. That's why they made the rule.
Yeah, it's a little shady business, man.
Yeah,
like, filming the other team's practice.
Just win, baby. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. It's part of the game.
It's the scene from Little Giants. He's like, look at this formation. They got the fullbacks, the linemen are in the backfield. He's like, the halfback's out wide, and the quarterback's not even there. They're standing around, butts. Amazing. Yeah, so that's the controversy. A lot of people commenting on social media about Belichick should get in. If you ask Bill Belichick, he doesn't care. He's going to get in next year, and that's it. Like, he cares about winning at North Carolina this year.
You think he cares about not getting the Bills job?
Did
he interview?
No, he doesn't want.
I don't even think he interviewed.
No, he didn't. He cares about winning at North Carolina, and he cares about keeping that 20-something-year-old hottie with him. That's what he cares about.
It's a full-time job. It's a full-time job.
Well, speaking of coaching news, the Bills have promoted Joe Brady to head coach. That's right. The young hotshot OC is now the new Bills head coach. What do you think of this decision?
It strikes me of what the New York Knicks did last year, where they interviewed 20 different people and they made this huge, bold decision. And then they were stuck like, well, I guess we'll take the safe option. I guess we'll take the guy that everyone's comfortable with. Joe Brady's done a fine job. He was once a hot head coaching candidate back when he was the OC with the Panthers. Then he kind of flamed out for Ron Rivera's team. I'm not sure the Bills' offense was better than expected the last few years. It wasn't bad when he took over from Ken Dorsey. Maybe he got better, more run heavy. Maybe kept Josh Allen out of trouble. He definitely threw less interceptions and everything. But it seems like that meme with the guy, he has like the same shirt on that he's about to buy, and it's just like same old with the Bills. Uninspiring hire.
Do you think it would have been better if they hired Brian Daboll?
Again, it would have kind of been the same problem to me. Like, let's go back to what we're comfortable with rather than try to change this thing. It goes back to them making the GM the president. They want to take so much pride in, like, this is the best Bills generation of players or whatever. And also, we need to change things. Like, those two things are contradictions.
Well, speaking of Brian Daboll, he has been hired by Robert Saleh to be the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. So the Tennessee Titans have the former Jets head coach as their head coach, the former Giants head coach as their offensive coordinator.
Everybody else has succeeded once they left New York, so why not them?
Yeah. It's funny, Daboll interviewed yesterday with the Raiders again for their head coaching position, and then just accepted the job as the OC with Tennessee. No one wants
it was reported that contingent he doesn't get the Raiders job. It's the same thing with Mike McDaniel. He got his Chargers job as the OC, but he's still going to try to interview, do the best he can as maybe a head coach.
Sure, I guess yes. That makes a lot of sense. Mike McCarthy was introduced in a press conference as the new coach of the Steelers, and he was asked about, does he want Aaron Rodgers back? And he said, yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't want Rodgers back. He said that he spoke to Aaron Rodgers. So do you think that Rodgers comes back next year to be the quarterback of the Steelers?
My memory isn't 100%, but didn't they beef? Didn't Aaron Rodgers get Mike McCarthy fired because didn't like what the offense was doing?
Pretty much.
I don't know. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers' choice. I don't think they're going to do better in the open market, but I don't see them winning playoff games together in the future.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. Man, there's still head coaching openings in the NFL. The Cardinals still need a head coach. Like, does anybody want the Cardinals job?
Jonathan Gannon. Wait, no. Can't do Jonathan Gannon.
Does anybody?
I mean,
the Raiders still have a head coaching opening. Like the Raiders, you got to think it's attractive, right? You're going to get the number 1 overall pick, so you got Fernando Mendoza coming in. Like, why?
Yeah, the Raiders job is pretty good because you have such low expectations. You have a great stadium, lots of money coming in. You have Tom Brady, which is probably a bonus. Maybe some people think it's a negative, but I think it's a bonus. The Cleveland job is interesting. Deion Sanders, last man standing.
Oh my goodness! Could you imagine?
I mean, who else would want to do it? I mean, you do have a
Pro
Bowl quarterback.
Pro Bowler.
You do have a Pro Bowl quarterback, so you have a lot to build on.
Yeah, you do. It's got to be Jim Schwartz in Cleveland, right? Like, they just got to be like they'll just
internal hire.
They're going to do their due diligence. They'll satisfy the Rooney Rule, whatever they have to do, and then they'll just promote Jim Schwartz, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Has it ever worked out as far as promoting from within?
You mean firing the head coach? Well, yeah, because think about because think about the times where an interim has kept the job, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Like Antonio Pierce was probably the most successful ATS coach in his in his
Sure.
like
I
1
think
year, right?
He ended his 1.5 years. He ended like 60%, like 15-10 or something. So since 2015, this database goes back to there's been 10 coaches that have been hired from within. We mentioned some: Antonio Pierce, Brian Schottenheimer, Dennis Allen. Negative results on average. On average, they go negative 0.6 wins below expectations overall. Doug Marrone for the 2017 Jaguars was the one exception to this rule. That was a really good season for them.
Was he the most successful coach hired from within? We
Yes.
did mention Antonio Pierce from an ATS standpoint.
Yeah, here are the coaches that went above their season win expectations in their first year. Dirk Cutter was the offensive coordinator in 2016, became the head coach. He had a good first year. Mike Mularkey and Doug Marrone. Brian Schottenheimer was close this year, but not Jared Mayo, not Lovie Smith, not Dennis Allen. Generally, it doesn't work out from a win-loss expectation.
All right, good stuff. Real good stuff there, Mackenzie. All right, well, that'll wrap things up for this episode. We got some exciting stuff coming, obviously, for next week, getting ready for Super Bowl week. Next week, we will unveil some of our Super Bowl props. We're going to do lots of props next week on the pod as well. And we will continue to provide the free play of the day up on betterday.com. So make sure you head to our website, utilize the free tools, the live scores and odds page, as well as the tools, the calculators there for you guys, and the free play up on betterday.com. And click on the link to elevate your betting game and see how you can become a Better Day Insider or Premium member and join us for all of the great stuff that we are building, all the tools and analysis and more really, really cool, innovative stuff to come that we are working on behind the scenes. Can't wait till we get all of that rolling. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.